New Year's is a special holiday, a time for celebration, a time for friends and family, and a time for football. Today in the historic SBC Cotton Bowl, two schools with 2 centuries of football tradition collide for just the second time ever. It's Tennessee and Texas A&M. Your first kickoff in 2005 is next on Fox. An unseasonably warm New Year's Day in Dallas. The Texas A&M 12th man stands ready. Rocky Top also fired up for this first day in 2005. We welcome you to the 69th edition of the SBC Cotton Bowl, where the 15th ranked Tennessee Volunteers take on number 22 Texas A&M. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Brian Baldinger, I'm Tom Brenneman. Happy New Year, and welcome to the SBC Cotton Bowl. Today, the Tennessee Volunteers, Baldy, go for their 10th win of the year, but this year they've done it in a very different manner than great Tennessee teams in the past.
Well, Tennessee under Philip Fulmer has always had an established quarterback. Heck, you know, Peyton Manning, and this year they started 2 freshmen. They both got hurt. It fell into the hands of a familiar name at Tennessee, Lawson. This one, the brother of Casey, Rick Lawson, is taking over the controls, but he doesn't feel like he has to do it by himself. He's got a couple of backs that could both go for over 1,000 yards this season today. Gerald Riggs along with Cedric Houston. These guys are looking to pound the football out here this afternoon.
As far as Texas A&M is concerned, winners of 7 games this season, a program on the rise under second-year head coach Dennis Franchione.
Well, this whole program is in the hands of one guy, the quarterback, and he's special. This guy, Reggie McNeil, this is an offense that everybody thinks Mike Vick should be running, and he runs it to perfection. When he takes a snap, you really don't know what he's going to do. He's magic. He can throw it, pitch it, and flip it, whatever you want him to do. But this team is going to go as far as Reggie McNeil plays today.
And he is the #1 concern of the Volunteer defense here today. We welcome the visiting Tennessee Volunteers out of the Southeastern Conference. Was the year the Rocky Top quarterback shuffled. 2 different freshman starters were lost to injury, forcing Rick Lawson to lead the Volunteers the rest of the way. The rushing attack picked up the slack. A pair of Tennessee backs challenging the 1,000-yard mark. But overall, the season was headlined by 2 tough defeats in the hands of 3rd-ranked Auburn, including the hard-fought SEC championship game. And now we welcome the Aggies of Texas A&M. It was a breakthrough season for A&M, led by junior quarterback Reggie McNeal, who led the Aggies to 7 wins on the strength of his arm and legs. His go-to target, senior Terence Murphy, the most decorated wideout in A&M history. And the youthful Aggies endured the nation's toughest schedule, featuring 3 games against BCS bowl-bound opponents. But they still managed to make it to this New Year's Day Cotton Bowl Classic. Let's now send it downstairs to the 3rd member of our broadcast team here today and say hello and Happy New Year, Jeannie Zelasco.
Hello, tremendous day in Big D, 69 degrees. The storm should come in much later this afternoon, so it looks like we have averted it, and the same could be said for your program, Coach Fulmer. You lost 2 quarterbacks, countless other injuries, yet here you are on New Year's Day. This has to be one of the proudest seasons in your tenure at Tennessee.
I am really proud of our football team. It's been a fun year, even though we've had all the adversities that we've had. This team has been resilient and fun to coach.
All right, Coach, you look around here, contrary to popular opinion and the Maroon, this is not a home game for the Aggies, but your guys told us, you know what, we like adversity. Is that why you're successful on the road?
We've been a very good road team, and we've got a good contingent of Tennessee people here. But obviously in Texas, A&M has done a good job of getting their folks here, but we just got to play well and keep the crowd out of it.
I'm sure you'll give a reason for the Tennessee fans to yell. Best of luck, Coach. Happy New Year. Hey, guys, you know, they want to poo-poo the 12th man, but there is no 12th man like at Texas A&M. We'll talk about that special unit a little later, guys.
Indeed we will. Jeannie, great to have you aboard on this New Year's Day. Dennis Franchione, the talk of College Station, Texas in his second year. 53 years young, out of Cherokee, Kansas, has turned programs around. Stops along the way, including Texas State, New Mexico, TCU, Alabama, and now A&M.
You know, and if you're an A&M fan and you're an Aggie, this is what it's all about, the Cotton Bowl. I mean, every year you try to get to the Cotton Bowl. From the days of the Southwest Conference, that was the bowl game that you wanted to get to. And for Tennessee, if you can't play in the national championship game, this is where they want to come, right here to Dallas, Texas.
Bill Fulmer told us point blank yesterday, you know, all the bowls are great, but as far as the hospitality, as far as the entertainment for his players, the coaches, and families, this is at the top of the list. And what a gorgeous day. Jeannie mentioned very warm temperatures, high humidity, and the winds right now at 12, although they've been picking up to 25.
You know, the last time Tennessee was here 4 years ago, it was a blizzard, it was ice, it was snow, it was freezing. Casey Lawson, the freshman quarterback, struggled today. His brother today gets much, much better temperatures and conditions to play the game. And the field is in perfect condition. Was down there walking on it before kickoff today. Nobody's going to be slipping on that field. It's like a golf green.
The electrifying Lane Newman will kick it away. He's their long field goal kicker and handles kickoff duties. And Gerald Riggs waits for the Volunteers, and we are underway. The 69th SBC Cotton Bowl out of the end zone, and Tennessee will get it beginning at the 20-yard line. Brian talked a short while ago about Rick Lawson, the transfer from LSU. Of course, his brother Casey, a 4-year starter for the Volunteers. He did not play in 6 of the first 8 games. In fact, did not throw a single pass in the only 2 games he played. But then after injuries to Brent Schaefer and Eric Gaines, he took over as a starter. He's gone 2-1. His only loss to Auburn.
Rick Lawson originally signed with LSU, was there during the national championship year a couple of years ago. Played 3 games there and wasn't happy with the situation. He transferred here to where his brother was, and that's been a huge, huge point for him. His brother's really helped him out here to get settled and understand the offense.
He starts out of the shotgun. Quick, safe throw, and it's complete for a short pickup out to the 24 to Chris Brown. A gain of 6. It'll bring up 2nd and 4. Let's meet the Tennessee Volunteers. They've had a lot of injuries up front the entire year. They are without the All-American Michael Munoz, the son of the great Anthony Munoz. Aaron Sears has done a solid job at his place. The dynamic duo in the backfield, Houston and Riggs, will alternate. Anderson, the fullback, and Robert Meacham, the redshirt freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a man to keep an eye on. Houston, his first carry, and rumbles across the 30. It's a first down for Tennessee. Texas A&M ranked 59th defensively this season. Up front, they're led by the senior, junior college transfer Mike Montgomery. He had 6 sacks during the season. An active line backing core. Will keep an eye on Archie McDaniel, who starts for Justin Warren. And the secondary, I know you like Jonte Buell a great deal. Lawson throws to the near side. Jason Swain out to the 35.
You know, one thing I always think about on these New Year's Day bowl games, the games that follow, is how do you stay sharp? I mean, the last time Texas A&M played was against Texas the day after Thanksgiving, and that's 5 weeks ago. Tennessee at least played the SEC championship game against Auburn. They lost that game, but they got another game, and so I think they're a little bit better game tested to start today.
4 wide receivers set for Tennessee on 2nd down and 10. Lawson rolls left, still looking, fires across the middle, good enough for a first down, and more. C.J. Fate sprinting to the corner, touchdown Tennessee.
Tennessee just shook the tree, and another receiver just fell out by C.J. Fate. They just move the pocket here. They just move Lawson here to his left. Nice job of just keeping protection in front of him. And he's just flooding his zone, just seeing where the open guy was in his zone. How costly that offside penalty was by A&M to keep that drive alive on third down.
James Wilhoit with a point after. And it is just good. 57 yards. A touchdown strike from Rick Lawson to the junior C.J. Payton. 7-0 Volunteers.
Here's the touchdown pass. Watch Tennessee just move the offensive line here. And then Lawson, who's a left-hander, comfortable here behind the moving pocket. All he's doing is just finding the open guy in the seam. In the zone right there, C.J. Payton, and now, I mean, it's just Tennessee speed. And all of them can run. C.J. Payton just happened to be the guy on that play. But you want to get the ball in the hands of your playmaker. Really what Lawson is a point guard in this offense. Just distributing the ball to the talented open player.
Number 7, Jason Carter. Number 9, Daquan Mobley. Awaiting a kick from James Wilhoit. This is returnable for Carter. Special teams coverage, and what a lick at the 15-yard line.
Heard that one all the way up here.
So here comes Reggie McNeil, the junior out of Lufkin, Texas, his second year as a starter. Threw 13 touchdown passes. Brian mentioned earlier only 3 interceptions, and he ran for 700 yards. He can beat you in many ways, and you look, the only quarterback in Division 1A to average over 230 yards passing and over 60 yards rushing per game. He's a whole package.
He loves the shotgun. This is how he starts. This is what he did in high school in Lufkin, Texas. Very familiar taking the ball 5 yards on the snap here.
Quick throw to Urban Taylor, and the sophomore is out to the 27-yard line. Good enough for a quick first down, a gain of 12. The rest of the Aggies offensively. We'll keep an eye on Aldo De La Garza. I know you liked watching him on tape all week long. In the backfield, Courtney Lewis, a sophomore, rushed for 1,000 yards a season ago. And Terence Murphy, their go-to receiver. First team all Big 12 with 51 receptions. Boone stunts a tight end in motion. And they hand it to Lewis. And maybe a yard. Tennessee defensively ranked 47th this year in NCAA Division I. We'll keep an eye on Jesse Mahalona, the junior college transfer. 5 sacks on the year. Linebacking core, Burnett, the senior. Gaither coming off a marvelous game in the SEC Championship. A much maligned secondary this year. Jason Allen, the leading tackler in the SEC. McNeil throws to Stutz, his tight end. And boom, they chant. Out to the 31-yard line. It brings up 3rd down and 6.
Well, if you're defending this offense, you have to defend Reggie McNeil. Here he's taking the ball from the center. Looks like it's going to be an option, but now it becomes a drop-back pass. So you sell option, you get the line to bite, you get the linebackers to think run, and then he drops back in a pass. It's actually very creative. Tennessee calls this offense multiplicity. I guess that means a lot of different things.
Well, as a Duke hands in, hands. You knew that one. Ducked off to Lewis.
Look at screen.
A lot of room to go. Crosses midfield and taken down at the 45-yard line.
Watch this. I mean, this is just a classic screen here. Going to get this just coming out on the outside here, but we get the offensive line coming out and leading the way. Get Hangartner out there right now. Boom. Those defensive backs don't want to see offensive tackles and guards coming at them.
25-yard pickup on the completion to Lewis. First down in Tennessee territory. Quick throw, and again, It's Urban Taylor. And he's to the 43. Good pickup on first down.
But I think we're seeing a little bit of Reggie McNeil here to start with. The ball is in his hands every play. I mean, he was in the top 5 in college football in yards per game, running, passing, the combination of them. And so you really don't know what he's going to do once the ball gets in his hands. I mean, he's going to take off with it. Is he going to run with it? Is he going to pitch it? Is he going to throw it? It's very difficult to defend everything that they try to do. It's about 3 offenses combined in one.
McNeil really a microcosm of this entire A&M team. You saw his numbers a season ago. His first year as a starter. An unbelievable improvement this year. Rolling, still looking, evades 1 tackle. And maybe a penalty. Yep, there it is.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Number 94, the defense. Late hit. Out of bounds. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Okay, he just outruns Gaither. There's Jason Hall. I mean, a big old defensive tackle coming down. And this guy is so quick. You're not really sure if he's in bounds right there. I mean, that is a late hit. But it's hard to hold up when you want to get a shot on this guy. Coach Fran calls most of the plays there. Les Carr, they work in collaboration. It all goes through Coach Fran. There's the pitch.
Option. And the ball comes loose. And did Tennessee get it? Yes, they did. Kirk McBride falls on the football after the pitch to Courtney Lewis.
That is only their 9th turnover all year. They take care of the football, but this one is just a little bit careless. Here's another example. I mean, McNeil feels the pressure. He pitches it to Lewis, and not a good handle on that ball.
A rare turnover indeed for A&M. Tennessee gets it back, leading by 7. Welcome back to the 69th SBC Cotton Bowl. A rare turnover indeed for the Aggies. That is their 9th this season.
Here we go.
And what a turnaround as far as the turnover takeaway ratio is concerned for the Aggies this season. They turned it over 30 times last year. Tennessee gets it back. Lawson again out of the shotgun, fires to Chris Hammond, the junior out of Sarasota, Florida. Pick up a 9.
Well, you want to know how Coach Fran turns a program around. It's a pretty good formula, but the most important statistic is turnover ratio. And you see what he's done here in 1 year. I mean, 24 extra at-bats for the offense. That's what I think of a positive turnover ratio, another chance at the plate for the offense.
They've gone turnover free in 3 consecutive games twice this season. They have never gone back-to-back games. Riggs will get it again. And again, not much room. Maybe a gain of 1. Riggs coming off that sensational SEC championship game when he rushed for 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, including an 80-yard scamper.
Well, he had the 80-yard run, but before that, he had a 70-yard run where Auburn didn't lay a glove on him, but that ball came back because of a holding call. A couple of big plays in that game. There it is. A nice, hefty 16.5-yard average every time he touched it in the running game.
3rd and 6, they need to get to the 31. Lawson throws it back the other way. Catch made. And getting a first down is Chris Brown. 2nd catch for Brown, who only had 4 receptions the entire year.
This is a good setup, and it takes a long time to set this up because you want all of A&M to go this way with the flow. Watch, I mean, Lawson already completed a touchdown pass in this type of play here, rolling to his left, and now the throwback here. So he had to kind of jump in that throw. He had a kind of little hump to it, you know, to get that thing across the field. That was a Brock Newton saving touchdown tackle right there.
Incomplete on the throw to C.J. Faton. Lawson coming off an encounter with Auburn, arguably the best defensive team in the country this year. Lawson threw for just 69 yards in that SEC championship. You see his numbers already today.
Well, you know, the thing that's impressive is how quickly he's getting the ball out of his hands. I mean, A&M, when they want to blitz, or Mike Montgomery wants to rush the passer, they can't get there as quickly as he's getting rid of the football right now.
Second and 10, Peyton in motion, and again, Lawson to throw. He's looking for Peyton, and he finds him down to the 16. Another first down for the Volunteers.
What's been impressive here, Tom, is how much they move Lawson to the right as well to the left, especially for a young quarterback that is left-handed. This is just a regular play-action fake here. He gets out. He gets his feet set. Gets his feet set to avoid the blitz right there, and then to be able to find his target and then throw it.
Under 5 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. 7-0 Tennessee. First and 10 at the A&M 16, and Lawson.
Wow.
Finds Swain, who breaks one tackle and then is wrapped up at the 11, a gain of 5.
Look at this one-handed catch. I mean, these receivers are talented now, and they got a bunch of them, but this was just a one-handed grab. I mean, as nonchalant as you can be. I mean, big, strong hands on him. Watch again how quickly. Here's Swain just from a tight formation and spread out. Watch those guys just practice one-handed catches in the receiver line before the game today.
Take the handoff, look to the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Corey Anderson, the fullback, his second touchdown reception of the season.
Lawson's playing some great football. As that ball went right over the safety's head, floated that one over there. Seen him throw about every kind of ball here today so far, especially on this last drive. Watch this ball get floated right over the safety's head. Corey Anderson, I tell you, he was a linebacker. They moved him around. They moved the fullback with some injuries this year. At 270 pounds, pretty athletic going up for that touchdown catch.
Lawson is hit on 9 of 13, a pair of touchdown throws, 14-0 Volunteers. Reggie McNeil clearly shaken up on that A&M sideline, and you got to wonder, Brian, if he's coming back for this next series.
I think he's shooken up. I mean, I think the backup right now, Ty Brannion, is getting himself ready. He has the helmet on. He's got the mouthpiece in. That helmet came off of Reggie McNeil, and I think he got hit in the head. And I don't think the cobwebs are cleared up right now.
What a blow that would be. Nothing against Brandon. I mean, he's played well this season. In fact, he came on and played the entire fourth quarter against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But that was his last game action.
He came into that game against Oklahoma. It was a 35-28 game, and they're going up against one of the top 2 or 3 programs in the country, getting his indoctrination.
Line drive kickoff fielded by Jason Carter, and a pretty good seam, and carries out to the 25-yard line. It's good. Now he's going to carry. He had an eye on a receiver, but decided not to make that throw. Failed to get back to the line of scrimmage, wrapped up by Antonio Reynolds, a true freshman out of Akron, Ohio.
One thing about all quarterbacks that can run, I mean, we think about Mike Vick, watching him in the NFL, but, you know, whether you're talking about the quarterback at Utah or Reggie McNeil, guys that have great athletic abilities, you want to make them go to the sidelines. You do not want to let those guys get going north and south.
McNeil to throw it. And a catch made by Murphy out to the 31-yard line. Terence Murphy, the all-time leading receiver in A&M history in both receptions and career receiving yards. And certainly, much more importantly, what a delightful young man to visit with.
Well, I tell you, he is a polished kid. Here he is right here just running a little stop route. And I think that if A&M is going to get back into this game here, I think Murphy has to get his hands on it too. And it could be just a 5-yard stop, but this guy has the ability to take it a long ways, a lot of run after the catch, great athlete, and a mature guy. He knows what he's doing on a football field.
Taylor in motion on the 3rd and 5, and they fire, and it's batted down. Good closing coverage there by Tennessee. For 36, redshirt freshman Rashawn Fellows.
Rashawn Fellows covered this perfectly. You see, this is just about a 10-yard out route right here, and Fellows stayed right with them. I mean, Fellows, the redshirt freshman, he was second team All-SEC this year. And, you know, Tennessee has always been loaded at cornerback. They lost a bunch of guys to the NFL this year, and really their cupboard was a little bit bare. But that's why you redshirt guys, you know, you get them on the field and you play against guys like Terence Murphy every week, you get better.
Jonathan Hefney receives his punt from his 25. Avoids one tackler and then is dropped.
Jonathan Hefney,
the 30 by Byron Jones. Rick Lawson given a chance. Due to the 2 injuries, making the most of it. A win today, and he would finish a year in 4 starts with a 3-1 record, the lone blemish against Auburn. And nobody's beaten that team.
Yeah, you know, this Lawson, you know, he was here 4 years ago in the stands watching his brother. That's his dad right here. His dad is so intense in watching his sons, he can't sit next to his wife and, you know, his other boy that's here watching today. And he wants to stand right behind the end zone there and watch him, study him. And they got a third son at Oaks Christian Academy out in California, just north of Los Angeles. They say he's the best of all the Clausens. Wow.
Cedric Houston nearly broke it for the distance. You can see his frustration.
You call that a pop. He almost popped that one right there. He broke the line of scrimmage, and he got into the secondary right here. Just going to be a quick pop right here. Little inside trap. Good vision to see the hole. One of those deals where you're going to look at that, and he's mad at himself for not picking up his feet just a little bit higher because there was nobody between him and the goal line, and he kept his feet.
Score 14-0 Tennessee, and the total yards reflecting their domination. A couple of A&M turnovers, penalty flag out on the field. Sounds pretty complicated.
Oh, it is. He still doesn't have it right.
Well, maybe he put a little something on that shoe because he slips a couple of them.
That shoe came off again. He's having problems with the shoe. You know, he's going to have Gerald Riggs come on. He's going to go get that shoe right. He just ran right out of it right here. Broke a tackle. And now all these backs and all these athletes here at Tennessee, they want to get to the outside where there's a lot more room to run.
What Cedric Houston is a load when he came walking in that meeting with us yesterday. Yeah, it's a big man.
He's given up on the shoe. He just tossed it aside. Like, I'm coming out of the game because of a shoe on Cotton Bowl day. Forget about it.
Lawson looks one way, throws the other, and again it's C.J. Baker. And maybe a yard. I beg your pardon, Chris Hannon on the reception. But that one did not fool A&M.
It's a, you know, that's like a pit right there, a pit stop in NASCAR, getting that shoe right.
How long can it take to put on a shoe? That's the end of the first quarter. 14-0 Tennessee. We're back to the SBC Cotton Bowl right after these messages. Texas State Fairgrounds. The area surrounding the Cotton Bowl, and it's 14-0 Tennessee as we open the second quarter. And Tennessee, a second down and 9 at the A&M 41, looking for more.
Oh, there's the ball. Pressure got to him that time.
We heard the whistles blow. Just as there was contact, it sounded like being made.
Johnny Jolly got him from the backside. Kickoff today.
They stand ready to throw.
Oh, yeah. No, it is some kind of tradition. This does feel like an away game for Tennessee.
And the Volunteers are playing like it.
Yeah.
They were an outstanding road team this year.
Go ahead.
Cedric Houston on second down carries to the 48. Back-to-back penalties have taken this drive from the 42 of A&M back across midfield the other way.
Really the best way to kind of quiet a crowd is to run the ball. Just get up there, quick count, take the snap, and hand it off. Very little can go wrong. You've got a 14-0 lead. You don't have to be super aggressive here on 3rd and long. And how long can those lungs hold out? Can they just do this all game?
Lawson fires just high across the middle.
Rick Lawson is taking some shots now.
Jason Jack delivering the hit.
Yeah, it's going to be coming from the backside right here. Boom. Pretty good shot there, right over the middle. This ball is not off target. Just off the fingertips. The face.
Khalid Jackson getting a chance to come back and play today after undergoing ankle surgery. He's not played since he got hurt against Kansas State. Tennessee punts for the first time today. Mays dropped it. And another A&M turnover. Their third of the game after turning it over 8 times all year.
And it's a different guy in every one of the turnovers. Like he was in great position. No wind out here today. Calm day to field that punt. Mays looking under. Looked like he tripped at the last second trying to get a handle on it. Couldn't come at a worse part of the field.
Houston behind Anderson in the eye. He gets a carry.
Ooh.
And to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. He broke a pair of tackles, including the normally dependable Jason Appel.
That's their best tackler for an A&M. Houston came in here needing just a little over 50 yards to go over 1,000 yards this season. He looks like he wants to get that in the first half today. Great stop there. To be able to keep going laterally like that, keep the feet moving, and then use that right arm. See that ball's in his left arm? He's using that right arm for violent yards, just as a good stiff arm and keep the defense off.
Will Hoyt again for the point after, and again it is good. 3 turnovers for A&M. Twice, Tennessee is cashed in with touchdown. And now the Volunteers lead at 21-0.
Texas A&M was one of the best teams in the country coming in today and taking care of the football.
Well, coming into the season, the all-time NCAA record shitovers in Division 1A, the number is 8. The last team to do it, the 2001 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and that was the number A&M was sitting on this year. Tack on 3.
You know, they play that game at the end of every practice, turnover, takeaway. You turn the ball over in practice, you run at the end of practice. Those guys hated running. One of the reasons why they were able to hold on to it.
Into the end zone, and Carter will take an 8.
Well, rain was predicted today. You think people would come with rain gear on. You know, it's college football. You know, you just throw a piece of plastic over the head, throw a bow in the hair, throw an A&M hat on. A&M needs to get back into this thing. You know, and they need to get the crowd, just keep the crowd going, keep them hopeful. And in college football, it's all big plays. I mean, there's so many good athletes, seniors against freshmen. You know, big, strong guys against young, you know, redshirt freshmen, and you get mismatches. Well, you get so many big plays. That's what A&M needs right now. They need something in that, just that big play department.
They pitch it to Lewis and read beautifully by the Volunteer defense.
The feeling you get if you're Tennessee, you're up 21-0. I mean, you can just take so many more chances. And, you know, you can really crowd the line of scrimmage. You can guess a little bit more. And that's what it looked like Tennessee did right there in that pitch. I mean, they just all flew to the football.
Omar Gaither, we talked about him getting the chance due to injuries at linebacker. Kevin Simon, of course, went down.
Yep.
A killer injury against Florida. And then very early, Marvin Mitchell gave Gaither the chance, and he has taken advantage of it. 18 tackles in that SEC championship game. McNeil, what move! And was able to pick up 4 or 5 more yards out to the center.
Recognize Tennessee's team's whip is great speed.
And
yeah, go ahead.
A terrific defense in years to come. It's a very young defense. McNeil fires low. Was it caught by Mobley? Yes, but shy of the first down by 2 yards.
Daquan Mobley here, I mean, he comes back to this football, but really, he's got to know where the sticks are, know where the first down markers are. Tennessee A&M here has to hang on to this football. Great job of hanging on to that football, taking it right off of the shoelaces, but not enough for the first down.
So 3 and out for A&M. A penalty certainly damaged that drive. Jonathan Hefney stands back at his own 35-yard line. A true freshman out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Hefney waits for the fair catch and handles it nicely at the 33. 10:39 to play until halftime. All Tennessee thus far in the Cotton Bowl.
A bit of a bunch formation. That's 3 receivers all clustered together right there.
Free play for Tennessee. And breaking it to the outside is Gerald Riggs, shoved out of bounds now. This penalty undoubtedly will be declined by the Volunteers.
No, you look at Gerald Riggs and Cedric Houston, 21 and 31. They look almost identical. We were talking to them yesterday. Physically, I mean, both about the same size, 6 foot, 6'1", 220 pounds. When they carry the ball, they're very, very similar in what either one could do.
Number 85.
They have combined for a pile of yards this season. Closing in on 2,000 combined rushing yards for the season.
I mean, Tennessee, running back here, they've never had 2 backs go over 1,000 yards in the same season before.
Take the handoff to Riggs. And then the catch made by the junior Chris Hannon. And he rolls out of bounds at the 28-yard line, a gain of 9.
Nice job going down low for it. Ryan Hannon here, another one of those guys on the outside. You know, Tennessee recruits nationally. This is a national program. They'll go anywhere to find players. In fact, they've got players from 18 different states on the roster. As you look down and you see Camden, New Jersey, you see Hawaii, I mean, from everywhere. We're telling those kids, look, you come here, we're going to throw the football. They want to come to Tennessee to play.
Corey Anderson rumbles all the way down inside the 15-yard line. He only had 2 carries all year long. When you brought it up earlier, I mean, this is a young man back in the spring that switched from defensive end to a fullback.
Well, he's got a touchdown catch today, and now this is what you want to see from a rumbling fullback. 270 pounds, I mean, what you don't see from A&M is anybody wrapping up. You're going to run in and bounce off of Corey Anderson now if you don't wrap him up.
Anderson out of Austin East High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. Lawson again to throw, wide open receiver, touchdown Volunteers. Tony Brown, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year.
He's their leading receiver for the Vols. He was probably wondering when he was going to get involved today.
And so far, a fanny whipping going on here at the SBC Cotton Bowl.
Well, Rick Lawson having a day here in a bowl game that his brother wished he would have had, during his tenure here. Nearly flawless, throwing the ball around the ball yard today.
Lawson, 12 of 18, 155 yards, 3 touchdown throws so far, and we still have 8:54 to play in the second quarter. Lawson saying to Philip Fulmer, don't forget about me looking ahead to next year. 8:54 to play until halftime in Dallas, Texas. Here's wishing you and yours a happy, healthy 2005. Pretty healthy New Year's Day thus far for those who root for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Like the A&M players might have been watching the ball drop last night.
Because they've been dropping it today.
Yeah, they have. I never understood standing in Times Square watching the ball drop. I mean, because after it drops, what do you do? I mean, what do you go?
Now, see, I am stunned. Of all the people that I know in this world, I would think that at least one time, you're a guy who likes to get out, a man of adventure, so you've done it.
I've done it. So you're out there, and you're wall-to-wall people. You're packed in like sardines, and you watch the ball drop, and then you just, okay, now what? You know, I mean, that's what you do.
Well, what did you do?
I went out. But, I mean, you got to get through the crowd.
Andy Sanders has to be so pleased with this Tennessee offense. Taking a knee is Jason Carter. Closing in on 2 minutes to play until halftime, and A&M desperately in need of points, trailing 28-0. McNeil in trouble, down he goes. Justin Harrell and Jason Hall converging on the sack of McNeil.
Well, this is just a double stunt inside here. I mean, you're just going to get twists coming like this. Here comes the end inside. Just trying to get one guy free on a straight drop back pass. McNeil never got a chance to really get his feet set.
Second and 20. McNeil steps up, fires across the middle. And the catch is made all the way to the 44-yard line, and a first down catch for Terence Thomas, the senior out of Houston.
Well, it's taken almost 2 quarters, but that's the best play so far by A&M today. Tennessee just playing really a 7-man web, stretched out, trying to prevent the big play. So there's going to be holes within that web, and that's exactly what McNeil was able to find. Look at the guys all looking at their wristbands. He's yelling out numbers as to what play they're playing to.
By Irvin Taylor, perhaps better than he did, Robin. The clock would have continued to run unless they had to waste a timeout.
Now, all the wide receivers have wristbands on their right wrist. And when McNeil yells a play, an audible at the line, they all look at the wrist to see what the play is. It's like everybody's looking to see what time it is.
.101 to play until halftime. Drop off to Jason Carter. He's on his feet, but only a gain of 4. And A&M will spend a timeout. 52 ticks remaining here in the second quarter. And McNeil operates out of the shotgun. Thrown high, and looking for the flag was Irvin Taylor. The flag that never came.
Watch this, Jeff. You know, you're up 28-0. You're a defensive lineman. You change your stance. You get yourself in a track stance. You get the butt up high here. See this? When they're standing up like that, they're not going to defend the run like that. They're coming out of blocks. You know, they're coming out on a 100-yard dash right here, and you're an offensive lineman. You see that stance? You're like, oh, goodness. They're coming now.
A&M will be forced
Nothing to my
to punt it away. Boy, the numbers are staggering in this first half. A game which saw Texas A&M favored by a field goal against Tennessee. Volunteers with 17 first downs, A&M only 6. And time of possession, 19 minutes nearly for Tennessee. Well, Dennis Franchione, certainly some work to do at halftime. As Steve Turing and all, as Brian mentioned, 3 times in his first half after committing just 8 turnovers all year long. Let's send it downstairs to Jeannie's Alaska.
Yeah, not a bad half. You took the words right out of my mouth. 2 standout running backs. We're used to seeing a very balanced offense from your club, but Rick Lawson's arm really getting workout. Speaking to his poise and the confidence you have in him.
Rick's done a great job for us in the games that he started, and obviously having a great day today. We've got to keep the balance somehow, you know, keep it going, and run that clock some now, and hopefully get a few more points.
Surprised what you've seen from the other side. Just real quickly here, this is a team that handles the ball very well. Is it your defense or their yips?
Well, it's probably both. Everybody's had a long layoff during the bowl games. We had a chance to play in the championship game. That sometimes makes a difference. But whatever it is, I hope it continues.
Thank you, Coach. Guys?
Jeannie, thank you. That's the end of the first half of the SBC Cotton Bowl, 28-0. Stay tuned for our halftime coverage, beginning with a Tennessee band right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Franchoni, we just talked about it moments ago. 8 turnovers coming in, 2 today. What do you make of this?
3 today, and that's uncharacteristic of us. You know, we just haven't played quite like we have played all year long, and we are capable of it. We've got to go out and do that in the second half.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Coach Franchoni, his team went 7-4 during the season. We told you they played the most difficult schedule in all of America. When you think that they played against unbeaten teams this year, wound up unbeaten in the regular season, both in conference against Oklahoma, their opening game of the season against a Utah team, and I'm not sure anyone wants to play. Pitt may have something to say about that later tonight in Tempe. And of course, a third loss of their 4 this year came against Texas, another BCS-bound team playing later today in the Rose Bowl.
And what you hope when you play that kind of a schedule and then you get to the Cotton Bowl is that's tested you, and that's toughened you, and that's gotten you ready for the type of speed and athletes that they're seeing from Tennessee today. But I really believe that the hardest thing to do in college football is go from the end of the season, which for them was Thanksgiving weekend, and get yourself and try to stay sharp for 5 weeks getting ready for a bowl game.
Which, of course, begs a question, and it's one of the most debated topics there is in all of sports, pro or collegiate, about the idea of some kind of tournament for a national championship in college football. When you have all that time, and some might say you study, let's be honest about it, most of the time the kids are out of school.
Yeah.
Or Christmas break or Thanksgiving break. As that one sails into the end zone, and A&M will get it on the 20. We look at some of the numbers in the first half, individually, starting with McNeil.
Well, I think this is the shock right here. I mean, Reggie McNeil is a two-way force, and he's got 2 rushing yards in that first half. And so he's the guy that is the ignition switch for this entire team. And Reggie has to get himself going. Now, it's hard. You're coming out of the tunnel here. Yeah, you feel like you've embarrassed your fans. You don't feel good about your performance, and you gotta flush that. You gotta come out here and take charge here to start this third quarter. We'll find out a lot about Reggie McNeil right now.
The start on the ground to Courtney Lewis, and he maybe gained a yard. Gang tackled shy of the 21, led by Tony McDaniel, a sophomore out of Columbia, South Carolina.
There's a lot of good athletes up front there. They've got a junior college transfer, Jesse Mahalona, in the middle of that defensive line. I mean, he wreaked havoc in the Southeast Conference this year. You know, they keep a stat in college: tackles behind the line of scrimmage, tackles for a loss. And really, a tackle for a loss to a running back is like a sack to a quarterback. It's a negative play.
Couple of fake handoffs, and now McNeil will tuck it under his arm. Sprint to the sideline, broke a tackle, and picks up a first down out to the 31. So a good way to get it started for A&M.
Well, you know, any quarterback, I don't care if it's Mike Vick or if it's Reggie McNeil, any quarterback that likes to run, and it's a part of his game, really sometimes running is what jump starts the passing part of it. You get into a rhythm, you start feeling like an athlete, you're making first downs, you're holding on to the ball, and that, there he is in the pocket just making people miss, and now he just turns into the athlete that he is.
Gain of 10, first down for A&M out to the 31.
There we go.
Double reverse. And scrambling across midfield and breaking it is Thomas. Terence Thomas caught from behind all the way to the 15-yard line.
That is not a trick play in the A&M playbook. That is part of the offense. This is what they do. Nice job here of misdirection, getting the receiver involved here in the play. Coming around here from the slot. McNeil gets out front. He gets a block. Got Hangardner out there. Good block by Terence Murphy. Picking up a convoy on the way down the sideline.
His 4th carry of the year, by far his season long. And now it's first down at the 15, right back to Lewis, and he is stung at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Burnett, the 5th-year senior out of Carson, California, who in 2002 in the opening game on August 31st of that year injured his knee against Wyoming, which wiped out his entire year, a year they felt he would become another one of the great linebackers in Tennessee history. He came back last year and an All-American candidate this year.
Not only that did he come back, he's also already graduated. You know, he's taking grad school courses right now. Smart guy, and said if football doesn't work out, he's ready to move on.
Inside handoff to Jason Carter. He steps out of bounds at the 12 and bring up third down for the Aggies.
Yeah, you know, Kevin Burnett, he came back from that injury too. I mean, you know, one of those guys that has great speed and can go and flow sideline to sideline. I think of, there he is, reads the play, sees the misdirection here, and now it's beat that guy to the sideline, get there and get in position to go make the play.
Burnett extremely vocal after the first loss against Auburn. He said the better team didn't win that game. Well, they locked up again, and Auburn beat them again. McNeil.
Oh, he's got
plenty of daylight. And then a pretty good open field tackle there at the 7-yard line. And again, it was Burnett who kept McNeil shy of the first down. Are you down 28-0? Do you take the 3 or do you go for it here?
But I would go. I mean, I would tee it up and put the ball in McNeil's hands and come up with one of those plays that Tennessee hasn't seen yet. But I think McNeil right there is too worried about breaking down and making somebody miss rather than just outrunning it. You stop your feet against this Tennessee defense. They're going to keep coming on.
4th down and a yard. A&M 7 of 17 converting on 4th downs this year. They run the option. And McNeil will keep it. And he's dragged down shy of the first down by Jason Mitchell, the junior inside linebacker who moved inside from outside early in the year.
This is a great play by the middle linebacker. Because McNeil could have pitched this, but he thought he could turn this up. Never felt Mitchell coming from behind him.
(28-0) Tennessee after a 4th and 1 defensive stand. Taking away hopes of points for the first time today for the Aggies. And Tennessee gets the football back. Their first possession of the second half. Lawson coming off a terrific first half, hitting on 15 of 22 for 192 yards, 3 touchdown passes. And they hand it off to Cedric Houston on first down. Let's go downstairs to Jeannie Salasco.
Well, Tom, this is the SBC Cotton Bowl, so that means it has been a pretty busy week for President and CEO Bill Blaze. Let's get you out of the way here, sir, so you don't get run over. That's what's most important. Happy New Year, sir.
Same to you, Jeannie. I want to thank everybody at Fox and the Cotton Bowl Committee for just another outstanding week. Nobody puts on a bowl game better than Fox, and we're just so proud to be associated with you. You know, we've been sponsoring the Cotton Bowl for many years, and we're really proud of what it does for education in our community here in Dallas. Over 3/4 of every dollar invested in the game goes right back to the schools of the SEC and the Big 12. And the city of Dallas gets close to a $90 million shot in the arm from the game, so we think that's both pretty special.
Your support of this bowl, this tremendous bowl, has been so evident, but you're making some other headlines these days.
Well, we're just proud at SBC to be a leader in the technology in our industry, to the point now where we are the majority owner of the largest wireless provider in the United States, Singular Wireless. We also have the largest broadband DSL business with over 5 million subscribers nationwide. And we have about 5,000 Wi-Fi hotspots now in the United States. And we're really looking forward to 2005. We're going to be rolling out what we call Project Lightspeed, which will take fiber optics a lot closer to our customers so we can provide voice, video, and high-speed internet all over an IP backbone. It's going to be real exciting, and we're looking forward to serving our customers.
All right, once again, Happy New Year, and don't go too far because we've got a trophy to give out in a little bit.
Thank you, Jeannie. We look forward to it.
Guys?
Jeannie, thank you very much. SBC indeed does such a fabulous job putting together as a title sponsor of this Cotton Bowl, the 69th edition. We had a wonderful time at the luncheon yesterday. Both teams were on hand.
Michael Munoz right there.
Well, what a terrific young man. I've had the pleasure of knowing his entire family for many, many years. The 2004 Dratty Trophy winner, the academic Heisman in college football. He's already graduated. He's working on his master's degree, recently married. And the catch is made by Meacham out across the 35-yard line. Clock continuing to run, and now to stop it with 8:14.
I don't think we should just gloss over that Dratty Trophy that Michael Munoz won, because that is all athletes in all sports in the whole country, and he won the award. Not just football, I mean all the college sports. He was named the Scholar Athlete. And so while he was an All-American offensive player, offensive tackle, remember when he gave that Hall of Fame induction speech for his father, out there in Canton? I mean, just waxed eloquent then, but to be able to combine both, and the commitment to Tennessee football is as big as there is, and still to be able to do the academics. There he is.
There's Michael at 11 years old. He was with us for a broadcast in the NFL on Fox our first year when he was about 14. And back then, as he began playing at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, he was going about 6'3", 260.
Yeah, he's like a lot of the linemen, well over 300 pounds right now. Much bigger sweatsuit now than when you had him up in the booth 10 years ago.
The penalty pushes it across midfield. First down throw for Lawson, wide open as Meacham all the way down to the 38. Pickup of 19 yards.
Rick Lawson, now he's thrown a lot of balls to the sideline and bootlegs. This is an NFL throw. This is drop back here out of the shotgun, look off to your right, and then throw that ball right over the middle. And you don't see a lot of college quarterbacks that don't have a great deal of experience wanting to throw the ball over the middle because it's dangerous and bodies flying around, and the ball gets bounced and flipped and tipped and all those kind of things. And that was a good throw. Those are some good numbers. No interceptions, no turnovers. Been the leader out there today. Capitalized off the turnovers. I mean, Tennessee is having one of their better days this season. I thought the best game they played all year was that win against Georgia this year. I mean, that was a good football team, talented football team, and they played great that day, but this is every bit of that performance that they had against the Bulldogs.
There's the Bulldogs playing today. We showed you some of their highlights from the opening half. Lawson fires too long on a second down throw. It'll bring up third.
I don't think you can underscore the importance of what Peyton Manning has meant to the University of Tennessee program. I mean, everybody's talking about him in the NFL, and rightfully so. But if you're a kid that's being recruited out of high school right now, and Philip Fulmer talks about Peyton Manning and how he still talks to him 1 or 2 times a week. This guy was a scholar athlete, built this program up. And Philip Fulmer says, as much as we talked about him as a football player, the way that he presents himself on television, the way he carries himself, I mean, that's just an incredible role model, someone to look up to.
Lawson to the end zone. Contact made, no flag.
Ah, there it is.
Yep, there it is. Looked like Justin Warren just ran over the intended receiver.
Tennessee's not changing a thing. They've got great balance. Philip Fulmer talked about that. Stay with the balance.
Defense, number 10. Penalized 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Right there, C.J. Payton thought he was going to get a second touchdown catch of the year. Contact while that ball's in the air. Pretty easy throw for a flag.
It's interesting, and obviously you're well aware, we've talked about this during the week, and the importance of Peyton Manning, as you were talking about. Of course, the irony of the entire Peyton Manning era at Tennessee, as sensational as it was, and he won every award there was to win except for the Heisman, is the fact that when he left, T. Martin was the man who led them to Phil Fulmer's only national championship in 1998.
That was the following year.
At the 13-yard line.
If he did it,
Iowa, an early lead over LSU. That one just underway at the Capital One Bowl in Orlando. Riggs able to carry inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Riggs will be back next year. Cedric Houston graduates.
Receivers outside of Tony Brown all coming back. Fullback coming back. Young offensive lineman getting experience. Look out in the SEC. You know, and really the SEC, and the face just keeps changing. You know, Steve Spurrier coming to South Carolina.
Urban Meyer now at Florida.
At University of Florida. We'll see what happens at LSU here in the next few days.
Again, Riggs breaks it to the outside. Touchdown, Gerald Riggs. 9-yard touchdown run. 6th rushing touchdown of the year for one of the 2 1,000-yard rushers for Tennessee.
Well, we're talking about the great talent that Tennessee has, but I think the thing that just keeps showing up here, and what the A&M fans don't want to see, is the speed difference between these two teams. Whether it's Riggs or Houston or Peyton or one of the other receivers. I mean, they're just beating the Aggies to the corners and to the edges all day.
Will Hoyt to make it 35-0 with 6:04 to play. Riggs coming off that electrifying performance in the SEC championship game, his first touchdown today. Dennis Franchione and the Texas A&M Aggies trailing 35-0 with 6:04 to play in the third quarter. Certainly not indicative of the kind of season it has been for A&M.
Looking at Dennis Franchione, you know, he's gone to his own play chart here. See, it was just all under wax and everything. Now he's got a portable one. You know, he's got the yellow folder out there now. He's drawing up new plays, because when it's 35-0, you gotta throw the original game plan out. You gotta come up with something new.
Well, Hoyt kicks it away. Carter 5 yards deep in the end zone, gonna bring it out. And he's tackled at the 16-yard line.
You know, Tennessee wins when they can pound the football. And they've got 2 backs that can do it.
McNeil throws to the senior Terence Murphy. Ball squirts loose, but it went out of bounds. Maintaining possession is A&M.
That's that Rashawn Fellows. He's had a good day out there. You know, and the last time Rashawn played was in the SEC championship game, and he struggled that day. I mean, Auburn got a couple of big plays on him, and really Philip Fulmer thought that maybe they were putting too much on him. You know, they're still just a freshman, first year out there, but he stepped up here today.
The Fulmer still said he very much believes that Fellows is his best cover corner, and he's in for a big future. Throw to Keith Joseph, playing in his final game as an Aggie, has already earned his degree. Senior out of Houston, Texas, and he was the academic award winner at our luncheon yesterday for student athlete at A&M.
I talked to him yesterday. I was sitting next to him up on the banquet table, and I was just asking him about, you know, he's got his degree and pro aspirations, and he wants to play. He said that he wants to lose about 15, 20 pounds and try to make it as a running back in the NFL. And like all these kids that, you know, probably aren't going to be a first or second round pick,
yes, sir,
he's excited about going to play special teams, be on the nut squad covering kicks at the NFL level.
Good protection. And it's incomplete. Would have been shy of the first down by a yard.
I think Reggie McNeil wants to wake up here and try this all over again.
Yep.
You know, you get out of bed sometimes on New Year's Day, and, you know, it's just not right. I think he wants to, like the number 1 on his jersey, like to try this one all over again.
It's not the Reggie McNeil that opponents saw during the Big 12 during the regular season. For those of you that weren't with us very early this morning, he ranked 6th nationally in total offense per game, nearly accounting for 300 yards per contest.
Yeah, I mean, he was a dual threat. I mean, every time he touched the ball, you weren't really sure what he was going to do, watching him on tape. And don't take anything away from what Tennessee has done, bottling him up here today.
Jonathan Hepney carries out to the 40. And with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. 35-0 Tennessee. Let's go downstairs to Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Tom, oftentimes football is compared to war, but Josh Amstutz knows better. Some 20 months ago, he wasn't on the sidelines. He was on the front line as part of the invading force that stormed into Iraq. Defending us, his country, almost cost him his dream of playing college ball. Corporal Amstutz took a sniper shot to the leg. Fortunately, the Purple Heart veteran recovered to become the heart and inspiration of so many Aggies players.
Throw by Brent Schaefer into the end zone, and it's broken up down there. Schaefer took a lick from Lee Foliaki. We had a chance to ask Jackson Appel, one of the real leaders of this A&M team, about what Amstutz has mean to this Aggie football team this year.
He lets us know that no matter how bad it is here, it could always be worse. You know, it could be when it's 105 at practice and we're feeling sorry for ourselves and stuff. You know, you just think about it could be 130 and people could be shooting at you. You know, so we should be happy that we're here playing this game and be fortunate that we don't have to be over there fighting to let us play.
Very well said.
He said 130. He wasn't exaggerating. In fact, you got a watch on today? Nobody over there can wear a watch because the heat will singe your skin. It's that warm, that brutal every day. Other thing, you look at the A&M there are no names on the back of that jersey. You know, Dennis Francione didn't think that they were a team last year. One of the reasons why they were able to come back and unite this year is he took the names off the jersey. He wanted them to be one family.
Schaefer, his first completion since he left the game against South Carolina with a broken collarbone, and it's good enough for a first down. Catch made by Brett Smith for a gain of 11.
This is a heck of a story for Brent Schaefer to come back. I mean, he came back. He was practicing this week, getting ready for this game, and then he came down with the flu. And he missed a couple of days of practice, and he thought he was going to put that comeback on hold for an entire offseason.
You know, they were rotating these quarterbacks. Schaefer actually was the first game starter for Tennessee. In fact, the first time a freshman quarterback had started a season opener for an SEC team since 1945. Although Schaefer was really sharing time back there with Abe. Gerald Riggs still on his feet inside the 20, down to the 17.
But here's what I think is amazing about that story. You said first true freshman at Tennessee and all that. This is a school that had Peyton Manning, you know, didn't start as a freshman. And we're looking at this offense, and guys are changing plays at the line of scrimmage and shuttling players in and out. And you're a freshman, and you're taking this in day by day, and you're digesting this, and you're able to start. I mean, you're learning an awful lot of football in a short period of time. You just know that the guy is football smart right away.
Philip Fulmer did not want to talk about it yesterday, and you can certainly understand why. We touched on it briefly during halftime, but what to do next year.
Yeah.
Here you have a guy in Lawson that's playing so well here today. He has a lot more experience than the other two quarterbacks. He began the year with the two freshmen, Ainge and Schaefer, trading out series sometimes on a play-by-play inside the same series during the early part of the season. And they recruited a highly touted quarterback out of North Carolina, just 100 miles outside of Knoxville. He's coming in here next year. What to do?
I bet all those fans that show up at Neyland Stadium are talking about the same thing as well.
No doubt about it. Here's what Schaefer can do.
Wow. He is elusive. You know what he has? He has, I think the word right now in football is suddenness. You know, his ability to just suddenly change directions, move, and a sudden burst at any point right here. Good ball fake right there. Got two hands on the ball, nice mechanics. Looking at number 7 on his back. Number 7 in Atlanta for the Falcons does a lot of that too. You don't see him tripped up very often, though. Usually he's gone.
3rd and 12 at the 20-yard line, and Schaefer to throw it. Good protection this time to the end zone, and just does overthrow his intended receiver, Brett Smith.
Good to see a kid come back, you know, healthy like Schaefer, though. Having the problem with the shoulder and coming back from it and looking like he has no ill effects. you know, from what put him out for 6-7 weeks.
Now James Wilhoit on for a 37-yard field goal try. He missed from 42 wide right. And this one is good.
Guys getting a workout there today. You know, and how many people are starting that workout program today on January 1st? I mean, that's sort of when it kicks in. You're probably going to start something this year, right?
No doubt about it.
Yourself youthful.
At the end of the third quarter, Tennessee 38.
Been a rough day for Reveille. Been a pretty good one, meanwhile, for Smokey and company. 38-0 Volunteers at the end of the third quarter. Like many across the country, we celebrate the life of Reggie White, a former University of Tennessee star back from 1980 to 83, a school record 32 career sacks. Of course, established the NFL record, later broken for sacks by Bruce Smith with 198, led Green Bay to the Super Bowl 31 win over New England. Had 3 sacks in that game, a Super Bowl record. Sadly, leaving us earlier in the week, a former teammate of yours, and the decal on the back of the Tennessee helmets today, a spiritual man, of course, was Reggie White, number 92.
I think everybody mourns the loss of Reggie White. Anybody that came in contact with him in any way has been mourning him this week. We show the sacks, and we put up the statistics and the career, and anybody that has ever met and been around Reggie, you never talk about football first. You talk about the man in his heart and what he could do. And we showed a lot of kids out here today. He had the joy of a child, and that's how he approached every day. He was just a big little kid.
Personal foul. Hitting a player out of the play. Number 18, 15 yards. Automatic first down.
I knew Reggie as Big Doggy. I mean, that's what we called him. He was just the Big Doggy, and he was funny. I mean, he could imitate a lot of different people. His imitations of Muhammad Ali were as good as Muhammad Ali, and just the way he could overtake a game at any time, like he did in the Super Bowl that we saw against New England that year. He could overtake a room full of kids or people looking for inspiration or guidance. He could do the same thing with his voice and with his beliefs and with his spirit.
Philip Fulmer's wife, in fact, traveled back for the funeral in North Carolina for Reggie White, as did his former teammate at Tennessee and your buddy, longtime Dallas Cowboy Bill Bates.
You know, and I heard the news last Sunday. It was just a shock. Because anybody that knew Reggie White, that was as big and healthy a guy as you're ever going to meet. And it's just shocking because we all kind of take these new vows here on January 1st and we get ourselves ready for another year and we all think we're okay. And if that guy like that can be taken from us, it happen to anybody. Just enjoy your time when you're here. Make the leave the influence and leave your mark when you can, because that was way too soon.
Our thoughts and prayers with the entire White family and all of their friends across the country.
I think it's important here for this A&M program to get on the board. And I mean, any kind of a score here. You just don't want to, in the record book, see that there was a shutout, because anytime you go back and you look at it, that's what's you're going to be remembered.
Going over the middle, real nice catch made by Latydrick Riley. First time we've called the junior's name here today. And he's inside the 20, down to the 17. You get a look at the Field Scoble Trophy, presented to the winners each and every year of the Cotton Bowl.
Of course, Field Scoble, former Aggie, representative of Texas A&M. We were at that luncheon yesterday, had the trophy there. Saw Gene Stallings, former Texas A&M coach, won a national championship at Alabama. Former coach of mine with the Dallas Cowboys.
Gene Stallings just elected into the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame. Troy Aikman also will head into the SBC Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame. Lance Allworth, part of that class. Oh, what a marvelous college player and professional player, Lance Allworth.
Oh. Or the lightning bolt for a long time in San Diego.
No flags down.
That was a lightning bolt of a throw.
There it was. And a flag did come in on the far sideline. The catch made by Daquan Mobley. And he's inside the 5.
John Chavis, the defensive coordinator there at Tennessee, still got the game face on. Seeing his defense break down a little bit here with some of these
Offside.
penalties and personal fouls.
Defense, number 90. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Talked about Troy Aikman. He played in the 1989 SBC Cotton Bowl for the UCLA Bruins in a 17-3 win. His final college game, drafted #1 by the Cowboys overall. Went 19 of 27, 172 yards, and a touchdown to Corwin Anthony.
Well, watching that footage of Troy last night, looked a lot faster in those pictures than he did as a Cowboy, especially later on. Look out.
Into the end zone and off the fingertips of Terence Murphy, thrown a bit behind him.
Went right by the ear of Terence Murphy there.
Big lineup tomorrow of the NFL. Vikings with a win will clinch a playoff spot. Boy, you've got a good one to call tomorrow between the Saints and Carolina Panthers in Charlotte.
Yeah, you know, and whoever wins that game tomorrow, they're still going to be sitting on the edge of their seat because nothing's going to get decided in the NFC until Atlanta plays Seattle. So this week where Jim Moore is going to play Mike Vick and his starters up there in Seattle trying to win that game.
To the end zone, short. On a throw to Urban Taylor, who was wide open.
A lot of frustration on Taylor and McNeil's part. Wide open. Just didn't get enough behind it. Pulled the trigger on it.
3rd and goal now for A&M. Trying to score for the first time today. Which they did. Touchdown strike from McNeil to Urban Taylor. It's good to see.
Yeah, you know, I said it was important. It was important to get, of course, one of the great traditions.
Whenever the Aggies score a touchdown, a lot of kissing going on.
Not enough today. Not enough for the Aggies today. There we go.
She told him, if we're going to kiss, you got to get rid of that lid.
Is that what she said?
Pegram now for the point after. But you saw her, didn't you? Either that or she said, what took you so long? But the kissing commences in Dallas. 38-7. 5:13 to play in the 4th quarter here in Dallas. Aggies getting on the board for the first time today on the touchdown pass from McNeil to Urban Taylor. Crowd has thinned down a bit since this huge overflow crowd when we got started at 10 o'clock local time this morning. And now A&M to kick it away. And Newman bumps it into the end zone. Well, I was starting to ask you, Baldy, how do you make the decision whether you go with the water jug or the Gatorade jug? And they got him with water, and here comes the Gatorade.
Well, see, first of all, you've got to have, you got to be coy. You know, you can't let it be seen. You can't like get the word out that here it comes, and you got to be a senior because you got to celebrate your last game as a volunteer. So you saw Kevin Burnett there. He was helping to carry it.
Well, they just got John Chavis.
Chavis is going to chase, I think, one of the ball boys for not telling him.
And they got him with a Gatorade.
Yeah.
That's a messy one to clean up.
And, you know, and then, so here comes Kevin Burnett. You know, first of all, you get a little aggravated because you get doused, and then you got to give the senior his props.
Just happened a moment ago, sneaking up behind their
look at it. Look,
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's like a linebacker going in. Look at that. That's good down. And he was going after the guy that was setting him up. There was a setup going on there. You ask how you get that done, and it's a team effort. Yeah, you got to have a setup guy, you know, just to make sure that he doesn't turn around, because, you know, all good defensive coordinators, they got eyes in the back of their head too, and they can see that coming.
C.J. Leek has come on to play quarterback. You know, we've talked so much about all the Tennessee quarterbacks today, with the exception of Leek. I mean, here's a young man who was a Tennessee starter, and then once he realized that he would no longer be their quarterback going into this year, he wanted to change positions.
Yeah. I tell you, you look at the size of C.J. Leek. Some NFL team will take him and throw him on special teams and give him a shot. I mean, he's a heck of a physical specimen.
Well, they're chasing somebody down there with bottles of Gatorade. That's Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator.
He only gets the little bottles. And they ran out of the big buckets of Gatorade. That's what happened. Anybody going to get the Lawson family? They should get Gatorade too.
Well, they started with Phil Fulmer. Then they got John Chavis. And now the offensive coordinator, Randy Sanders. And a celebration is on in Knoxville. A 38-7 game, maybe the best game that Tennessee played the entire year.
I think so. I mean, you know, and that's all you can ever want as a head coach, Philip Fulmer, to have your team be at its best and play its best on a New Year's Day bowl game like this.
So they play Rocky Top. For Reggie McNeil, there will be better days. He'll be back next season, a quarterback for A&M. Very young team, a lot of quality redshirt players that will get a chance to put on a hat next year. 38-7 our final from the 2005 SBC Cotton Bowl. We'll be back for more post-game coverage right after these messages. Tennessee wins its 10th game of the year. Their season concludes with a 2005 SBC Cotton Bowl victory over Texas A&M at 38-7. And for the trophy presentation, let's send it downstairs to Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Tommy, time to put a punctuation mark on a great season for Tennessee. But first, look at this. This coach is still hard at work. I need to tell him, it's over, my friend. It is over. Stand right here. Get ready. All right, I don't get to do the honors. We turn to President and CEO of SBC, Bill Blaze. Sir?
Thank you, Jeannie, and thank you to Fox for an outstanding coverage of the SBC Cotton Bowl class. Coach Fulmer, congratulations on an outstanding season, outstanding game. You have a great young team with a very bright future. I'd like to turn things over to Mr. Gail Earls now, President of the Cotton Bowl, for a presentation of the Fields Gold Award.
Thank you. Thank you, Blair. Coach, congratulations to you and your team, your administration, and all your wonderful fans. You've had a wonderful day. We're very proud of you. And I want to present to you the 2005 Fields Scoville Cotton Bowl Athletic Association Trophy, SBC's.
Thank you very much.
Now you're going to have to get one of these big guys to lift it.
Give it a lift, Coach. Get some of the big guys later. Coach, congratulations. We talked towards the end of the broadcast here. This is the 8th time you've managed 10 wins, but a big sigh of relief because this one may be hard fought.
Well, it was a hard-fought season. I am so proud of this football team, and I just can't hardly stand it. The leadership, the captains have been just fantastic. I want to thank the SBC Cotton Bowl for being great hosts. We've had a wonderful time, and it's just been a great week from that standpoint as well. But most of all, I want to thank this entire football team and these coaches and these great fans that we have.
And, Coach, how about your quarterback controversy, if you will, coming into the season? We didn't even really know as you went through the months what quarterback would be here today. Mr. Lawson, tremendous effort.
Oh, Rick just had a fantastic game. He's had a great rich end of the year, really, and I think he was the MVP today, and he certainly deserved that from the standpoint of leading our football team in a very calm, poised manner to help us obviously be champions of the Cotton Bowl.
All right, sir, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. Tom, so many of the players telling us this week they wanted to get back on a winning streak. Tennessee had dropped its last 2 bowl games. Mission accomplished today.
Indeed, Jeannie, thank you very much. Our game today produced by Jeff Gowan, directed by Rich Russo, our associate director Eric Millingmeyer, our broadcast associates Zach Field and Kevin Dresser, our technical producer Joe Stevens, our technical director Jonathan Evans. The senior producer at Fox Sports is Bill Brown, the executive producers Ed Gorn and David Hill. For Brian Baldinger, Jeannie Zelasco, I'm Tom Brenneman. Thanks so much for joining us. 38-7 Tennessee over A&M. For more information on today's game and the latest in sports news, log on to foxsports.com. Here's wishing you and yours a happy 2005.